Yes, we have a lot to talk about.
Here's the shout-out portion of the show.
First thing, I'm going to give a mad shout-out to Brian Faust.
Why does it have to be mad? Are you angry about it?
No. I'm going to give a mad shout-out to Brian Faust. That's a mad shout-out, dude. See? Actually, Jimmy has a shout-out.
I want to give a shout-out to Khalil Curry. That Chael Sonnen video he sent was, man, I was falling out of my chair. I think Kevin was as well.
George just refused to watch it because he hates Chael Sonnen.
No, I don't hate him.
I just hope the Nogueira brothers figured out that a bus is not a horse and don't try to feed it or pet it.
It's
if
actually
you
funny.
Seen it, go check it out.
Yeah, how can they get to it?
It was Ariel Halwani or whatever his name is. It was an interview with him.
Yeah, so. Check it out. Then we're gonna jump right into. Actually, I want to know, how did you sleep last night?
You know, I received a threat. Somebody's really upset with me.
You're actually getting Howard Stern status here.
No.
I mean, getting Howard Stern money.
Yeah, Anyway, I received the threat, but I just want to let you know I'm okay. I'm sleeping well at night. I'm not. I hired a security team. It made me a little nervous when they showed up and had attack hats.
Now, did you get a carry and conceal license?
No, I'm not that dude. Look, trust me. Unless your ass shows up knocking on my door and I don't know who the fuck you are, and I wouldn't do that because I do own a gun and you will get shot. So just don't come knocking on a motherfucker's door playing fucking Johnny Badass.
I'm gonna tell you guys something. If you guys, first of all, we got the best fucking fans out there. We do. You guys, the shit that people live on comment boards are fucking hilarious. We love it.
The emails we get are great.
They're great. Everything is great, but every once in a while we get somebody that likes to stick something in our fucking inbox, like my Loverboy 9.
And here's the thing, dude. If you're gonna fucking come at me, or
James,
come at Jimmy,
put that name in the
or
background.
come at Kevin, and you honestly sat down and decided, look, I'm gonna make a YouTube account. What name is not taken? And my Loverboy pops up, dude. I don't know whether you want to fucking buy me a beer or blow me.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not into that. I'm sincerely flattered because if you're coming at me with a name like my Loverboy, obviously Dad touched you too much. You got a friendly uncle. Hung out at church too long.
The white vans. He rides in white vans.
Pull it up. You got to come up with my Loverboy 9. And you say you like me. Okay, but I'm going to tell you what. It has nothing to do with liking Kevin. You got to come up with a harder name.
Yeah.
Like, I got niggas. Or something like that. Then somebody, that's going to give you a little bit more respect. YouTube street respect.
How about we tell him what was he actually took the time to write?
And why? We don't know.
I can't even pull it. I can't remember. What did he say? He said, don't let me
catch you on the street, you punk bitch, because I'll put your lights out, and the next show you'll be doing is from a hospital bed.
You don't need him to put your lights out. You got a clapper. Maybe that should have been his name. Clapper. Wow. Clapper boy. Anyway, we're done with my Loverboy 9, okay? Please don't send no more retarded shit like that in our inbox.
Or if you do, come up with a better name.
Yeah, man. If you said some funny shit, we would have laughed about it, George.
Or come up with a reason why.
Yeah, you didn't even tell us why he's mad at you. Why was he fucking mad at you?
I responded back.
Everybody else just says shit like why they're mad at you. It's great, you know?
Dude, and here's the thing. If you haven't watched the show in a while, we actually have our own emails. Send it to me personally.
Yeah, because we know you're fan. Anyway.
Thanks for all the emails. They've been quite entertaining.
Yeah, they actually have been very entertaining. Now, in MMA news, we're going to move on to what's up.
Oh, Jesus. Dude, they are struggling to find fighters in the UFC 133 card.
People are just dropping.
Phil Davis hurts a knee, and it makes sense because he's, early 20s? He's under 25.
Right.
And
like 24.
And 24. Dana White's like, I shut it down. He's like, dude, Phil Davis wants to take the fight, but he can't train for 2 weeks, so they needed a replacement. They came to Tito. Tito, in my opinion, at the time did the smart thing and said, you know what? I'm not taking that fight on short notice.
Right.
So they're trying to find a fighter to fight Rashad Evans. So then they got Machida.
Right.
That would have been great because I'd love to see Machida kick, give that motherfucker, as Rampage said, you was doing his stinky leg.
Yeah. If he did a replay of that shit, that would not be good for Rashad Evans' career.
Well, then they came back and said, all right, Machida. And Machida goes, I want Anderson Silva money. And Dana White said, fuck you. And I don't blame him. I mean,
why does Lyoto Machida think that he's going to get Anderson Silva money?
Why? Because
I guess just drink too much piss that morning.
Well, the rumor is when you step in and you take these fights on short notice, the Daddy Dana takes care of you. He does something. He throws a little extra money your way, or hooks you up.
So you're telling me right now, Rick Story's driving around a Bentley?
I didn't know. I didn't say that.
Okay.
What's a little extra money to Rick Story? Is like $5,000. A little extra money to Lyoto Machida is honestly Anderson Silva money because his ego is the size of fucking Brazil.
Right.
And no offense to Machida, nobody is tuning in to a fight to watch Machida fight.
Well, but you got to remember, last time
Silva.
Machida fought, he fucking knocked goddamn Randy Couture's teeth out of his head.
So
yeah, on like the third fight down on the card.
So
there's a reason why.
But he finished the fight in a good finish.
Yeah.
It didn't go the
distance. Fight in
distance.
losing a tooth fashion.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that. So they come back and Tito picks up the phone and goes, Dana, you got somebody to take that fight?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, no. Tito steps in. So it's going to be Tito Ortiz versus Rashad Evans. We're not really getting in depth to UFC 133 because Little Nog had to pull out, and they're trying to find a replacement to fight Rich Franklin.
And then on the other, and Matt Hamill just got brought in as a replacement. But there's so many things that haven't been finalized with the 133 card, so we're just going to wait.
Who would you guys like to see step in and fight Rich Franklin? Now, mind you, this is at 205.
Money weight.
The money weight?
I like to see the money weight. Would you like to see the money weight?
Yeah, I mean that would be definitely an exciting fight. I mean, and he's going to sell it.
And for you people out there, that's King Mo Law. King Mo Law has asked for this fight. So.
Not to be mistaken with the rapper King Mo Law, because that's pretty much what it sounds like. A rapper's persona. He has the fucking change, the bling, the ice, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
He's probably cutting
Obviously,
a rap
none of that
video
shit happened to help him.
before the fight.
Yeah. So, would you like to see that fight?
I'd love to see King Mo Law.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
there's a question on the sheet that I want to ask you guys, and the reason I'm coming up with this question, the sweetest science. I'm sorry, I was about to call you sweet science.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid, I don't want to make a mistake. Fuck off. Don't care. You have officially got on my nerves.
Right.
You're ignorant. You can't have a civil conversation because you're a boxing fan. I get it. I don't have to be because you are.
Right.
Boxing is okay, but to sit there and say that you're going to judge a fighter's toughness, now strictly boxing, let's see. How do you judge one's toughness? That was my question to him.
Mm-hmm.
By how many fights have gone the distance standing up in boxing versus MMA? Boxers have way better chins than MMA, and MMA fighters get knocked out easily.
No.
The other thing he said is, where is it? The thing. Yeah, I didn't do my research either. Fucking calm down.
Okay. Yeah.
But when you win, boxers, Basically, he said boxers are better conditioned. They're tougher. They're just better. And you know what? You're right. I quit. You win. But Kevin, on the other hand, has something to say about the conditioning and durability of boxers compared to that of an MMA fighter.
Okay, this is the thing. All right, if you're talking about the smaller gloves versus the larger gloves, and I know last week I hit you, accidentally hit you, and I cracked George and said the force of the punch is what knocks you out. So a 16-ounce glove compared to an MMA glove, there's not much difference. But there's also what you bring into the equation, the fact that, when you look at an MMA fight, a small glove like that, there's much more cuts, a lot quicker. You know what I'm saying? Fights are stopped because of, of cuts and stuff like this. Now, when you're thinking about toughness of a boxer or durability or conditioning compared to a boxer and an MMA athlete, I've done both of them, wrestled and boxed and did it, and there's not a comparison. I mean, and this is how I'm going to break it down to you. If you look at a Olympic boxing match that goes about 3 rounds, okay? Look at those fighters. Okay, a 3-round Olympic boxing match. Look at those fighters after
that. 9 minutes?
Yeah, it's 9 minutes. They're not winded. They might be a little bit if they really swung for the fences and went fucking crazy, but they're not winded. Could you even imagine a wrestling match going 12 rounds?
Dude, have you seen Hulk Hogan? He was wrestled for an hour. Hulk Hogan
Andre
wrestled
the
for an
Giant.
hour. What? 45-minute show? And
Yeah.
what?
I shit went all out the window. I didn't think about that. Yeah. Seriously. I mean, a 12-round wrestling match.
And here's the other.
There's so much more of your body involved when you're wrestling.
And here's the other thing. And one of the point I made. Okay, a boxing match could go the distance, but here's one thing they can do in boxing that you won't do in MMA. It's called a clinch. You literally hold on to the guy when you're rocked, and you fucking pray that little ball-headed ref's gonna come over and separate it. And as soon as you do, you back up, take those giant 2 pillows again, and go poof poof, and clinch again so you can see straight.
Right.
That shit's not going to work in MMA.
No.
And here's the other thing. When's the last time a boxer had more than one fight in the same night?
Yeah.
Motherfucking Floyd Mayweather fights once every 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, boxers take, I will say boxers take
more of a beating.
They take more of a beating, definitely.
Because they get punched in the head for 12 rounds.
And they're definitely more skilled stand-up guys with their hands. And
that's the argument Hackelman made to us all day long. He's like, it's not as safe as MMA. Because let's face it, in MMA, you get popped, You fall down on the ground, you get knocked out. Dude, it's over in 45 seconds. Yeah. Boxing, you get popped, you fall down to the ground, you got 8 seconds to get your wits about you, and then guess what? You go out there and start getting hit in the head again.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know.
So if you want to make that argument, it makes a lot of sense. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, on the point of toughness, and especially on the conditioning end, you know, you see other professional athletes, basketball players, football players, you don't hear them saying, I'm going to go train boxing. They're going to go train MMA style.
Right.
It's taken off in the last 2 years. And honestly, there's a reason why. I mean, I'm not saying it's the greatest style of training, but there's a reason why other professional athletes would do that type of training.
Ask Jay Glazer. Jay Glazer's got a video of AJ Hawk and like 4 or 5 other guys. It's explosive movements over a 3 or 4 minute period, and you have to give it all you can for 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, they're doing all kinds of hybrid, functional, CrossFit type training. You need that to do this.
But instead, Floyd Mayweather's making bets and fucking putting on I can hit these pads. I can hit these pads. Pads don't fucking hit back.
Let me tell you what a tough guy hits.
He's hanging out with 50 Cent.
In a fucking frozen meat locker. Right. That's what a tough motherfucker hits.
Right. I like that Balboa shit. You bring it way back. Y'all want to see Jimmy's hand? Watch this, nigga. Ah! Got mad. Jimmy's hand got in front of your face.
Don't fucking bother me.
I did.
People like Jimmy more than they like me anyway.
Okay, so what are we going to talk? We're going to talk about the Strikeforce card.
Dude, the Strikeforce card's coming up on July 30th. This could be, and I know I'm going to catch some shit for this. This could be Fedor's last fight.
I would agree.
This has possibility to be Fedor's last fight.
To me, if an H-bomb lands, his career's over. And I don't mean to scare a
Well, from one Jew to another, I'm glad to see Rich Greenbaum just channeled himself right through Jimmy's mouth.
H-bomb, okay.
So for anyone who's never seen Fedor fight, you might want to tune in because this might be it.
Yeah,
I want to see Fedor fight because I'd still like to see. There's other guys I'd like to see him fight.
I mean, to me, the fight's going to get finished. I mean,
this fight's not making it out of the second round.
Well, this is the big thing is if we'll get to that fight, I guess, but we'll start with the cards. The first bouts. The first one's going to be Scott Smith versus.
Hold on.
Okay.
Just looking, we're not going to tell you who's on the card yet, but just glancing at the names, what do you think of the card?
Awesome.
The card is fucking spectacular. Even George, who is like this card's got a little bit chubby going on right now.
If you like technical fights, this may not be the card for you. If you like fights like Kevin and I do, the street fight style, tune in and don't get up.
Right.
Bring a tray, set it down, eat, and enjoy
1, 2,
yourself.
3, 4, 5. There's 5 cards, including a female bout. Okay, and those 5 cards. What's the over/under on how long you think the total card would take? I'm thinking 27 minutes. It's like it could go fast.
Yeah,
it could really go fast.
I think the average round for the stoppage is going to be first round. If you take all these together and average, it's going to be the first round.
Yeah,
I don't see any of these. I mean, the only fight, in my opinion, that has a chance to get out of the first round is a women's fight.
I could see the women's going 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's it. Now, with that said, the first fight of the night is Scott Smith versus
Tarek Safadine.
Good. Now you can't yell at me or Kevin for that shit.
Right, because I know I'll get somebody will say, Kevin,
do more research.
Right, you still don't know how to say names, so we let Jimmy do it.
Anyway, my money's on Scott Smith by about 47 seconds left in the first round to be withering, wilting, and come back and go, BOW! And end the fight.
Right.
Yeah. I think he's still got steel in the hands, so I'm a fan.
Because he's got rocks in his head.
Going with Tarek. I'm going with Tarek.
Oh, cool. Shit.
I'm going to separate myself from you two guys. What was
Tarek's last fight was a draw.
Did you say you're going with the terrorist?
No, those live next door.
No, I'm not going.
Hey, did you notice your terrorist cut? No, they did. Dude, Kevin's got a sleeper cell 2 doors down. They cut all their grass. What's that mean to George? They might put some fucking IEDs or some kind of fucking...
they're not coming back for a long time.
Anyway.
Going to find some virgins.
Right, okay. Now that we're done talking about
Tarek's last fight, in my opinion, it was against Tyron Woodley, who's on the next fight, and he lost to Tyron Woodley in a majority decision.
Right.
So
I think he's good. I mean, I think this guy. I think he can knock out Scott Smith.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, man. He
fights best when his back's against the cage.
And that would be his contract because Dana's like, I'm not going to sign you.
Now, the next bout.
This, to me, has potential to be fight of the night.
It could be fight of the night. Paul Daly versus Tyron Woodley.
Now, I hope Tyron Woodley doesn't do what he's good at, and that's take him down, but I would imagine he's going to shoot in and take Paul Daly down and pound the piss out of him.
Now, someone's going to probably have to educate me on this. How good are Tyron Woodley's hands?
Don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're decent.
not-
He's got
yeah.
decent stand up.
Right.
I mean, he's last time I watched him fight, he went bap, ducked under, shot down, and like across the ring type takedown.
Yeah.
Like he's explosive.
he's
Wrestled at
explosive.
Missouri. He's nasty as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's got a good
Wrestling.
wrestling pedigree, I see him taking Paul Daly down.
It's-
I mean, Paul Daly's got, Semtex, I mean,
Yeah.
is his nickname, so,
Right.
I mean, he just wants to throw hands.
He wants to throw hands. And now this guy takes him down. He's that good of a wrestler on the ground. Paul Daly could get really frustrated and like punch a ref.
Well, yeah,
If that
that
guy
would be
gets
awesome.
frustrated, and that's what we're fucking hoping for
Hopefully
here at
it's
the Uncut
Stop
Sports
Gotti.
Show. Right, stop. We need somebody. We need somebody. That would really just brew that fight up, take it up a little bit. But
You mean like Vondelay put the triangle choke on Rosenthal?
yeah, that was pretty crazy.
On to Robbie Lawler versus Tim Kennedy.
Now, this is gonna. I'm taking this to be the fight of the night. These two motherfuckers are crazy.
Tim Kennedy just loves to fight.
Yeah,
I'm going with Tim Kennedy.
are you?
Yep. I know Robbie Lawler's on a win streak, and he just knocked somebody into a coma last time we watched him fight. But I want to see Tim Kennedy.
I'm
win.
going
not a
Robbie
huge
Lawler and the
fan.
new Grizzly Adams look. I like that shit.
If he
He's got
still
that
has it.
beard.
When's the last time? If he still has
I'm
it.
just excited.
Come on, Robbie,
honestly,
don't
to-
shave the beard.
To see the fight. I mean, this fight, I think, like you said, I think it's going to be a great fight because these guys are going to stand. They're tough.
Right.
And they're just going to, throw punches. Somebody's getting knocked out probably in the first round.
Right. I think so. I think with these two guys, I don't see. I seriously don't think it'll get out the first round.
I don't do it.
Unless they both have a tremendous amount of respect for one another and they come at it really cautiously.
It doesn't matter.
Praying a
But
guy
these
doesn't
guys,
have-
honestly, seriously, this is Strikeforce. I mean, they're starting to get down to probably where they're in. I don't want to say their last few cards, but I mean, these guys should come out and just swing for the fences.
gotta remember-
they got nothing to lose.
Yeah, and that's it.
Everyone on this card, with the exception of the women, are fighting for a shot to get
Yeah.
into the UFC.
Yeah.
And some of these guys have already been there.
Now, if you're fighting for a shot to get in the UFC, sorry to cut you off, but if you're fighting for a shot, if you're fighting, you're
Toe
fighting
to
for.
toe, I'm trying to knock you out.
Yeah,
even
man.
if
George coming hard,
Because here's the
George.
thing: even if you get knocked out, Dana has more respect for that than a guy who fights to win. I mean, who fights not to lose. So
Yeah.
if you're out there on this card, if you're fighting not to lose, you're done. In my opinion, the women are done. I don't give it. They could go out there and literally, she could punch her in the head and decapitate the bitch. You still don't
I mean,
have.
I would
Right.
say the one person out of these 6 fighters that we've just talked about that is probably a shoe-in, and that's partly because of his fighting, but also because of his marketability, is Tim Kennedy. Because
Yeah.
like a Brian Stan, he's a military guy, very well-spoken. They can sell that product. These other guys, I mean, I think some of them will make their way onto the UFC or potentially onto UFC rosters, but they're definitely not a lock.
There,
Right.
Out of those 6 guys, there's 2. Tim Kennedy for what you said, and then Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley has the largest upside of any of these guys. Lawler's been in the UFC.
Right.
Scott
So Scott
Smith
Smith, yeah.
Been
and
in
Paul
the UFC,
Daly.
yeah.
Those 3 guys have all been in the UFC,
Right.
and they're in Strikeforce for a reason.
Yeah.
They're not. I mean, but you know what? Right now, Dana needs to put butts in seats. And let me
Yeah.
tell you, I'd watch Scott Smith and Robbie Lawler fight
Fuck
each
yeah.
other.
I'd
I
watch,
mean, these-
I'd watch, and then the winner fight Paul Daly.
Right. Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
no, Paul Daly's never going to fight in the UFC.
I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Koscheck
Yeah,
again.
he's
well,
done.
that's not going to happen.
yeah, I
we all
don't
know
see
that.
Paul Daly. Yeah, Paul Daly fucked it up for himself. He
Right.
really did.
Now, on to the ladies of the evening.
Okay. Marloes Coonan versus Misha Tate.
I'm going with Tate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with Tate too. I mean, I was not impressed with Coonan the last time out. It's the
Yeah.
woman who stood in that Liz, whatever her name was,
Right.
gave her quite a fight, and actually was winning the fight until I believe she was choked out.
Now this is the thing. It's funny because, you see when every time there's a stand-in or somebody comes in that you're not prepared for, or
It's tough.
it becomes, and that's the one thing I will say about Marloes that she had to deal with. It was kind of the unexpected, like what we saw.
I
with
mean,
Rich
she
Story.
won the fight, and that's at the end of the day, that's
Yeah.
what matters.
So I mean, but I'm with you. I'm going to go with Misha Tate on this one.
Now, that brings us to the main event, why everyone's going to be tuning in on the 30th. Fedor versus
Yeah,
Dan
he's
Henderson.
tall, right.
And Dan Henderson's like, I'm weighing 206. He's like, I don't
Yeah,
give a
that's
shit
what he
what.
said.
He's like, I don't care what Fedor's going to weigh. He's like,
Right.
I'm going to make weight. And I guess they still have to make a minimum weight.
Yeah, I think it was between 206 and 220 or something.
220,
like that.
right.
So Dan Henderson's like, I'm going to come in at 206, which makes sense because he can cut back down to 185 pretty
Right.
easy. If he came in at a bloated, he's got to be in shape.
Yeah.
He can't take this fight lightly because let's face it, even with Fedor, and I've criticized him for his punching style, he's going to duck his head, which makes sense because you don't want to get hit, and you're going to throw that big ass overhand right. If he hits Dan Henderson with that, he could knock Dan Henderson out.
Oh, he will knock Dan
Definitely.
Henderson out.
And-
I mean, he's got a lot of power. Fedor's power is crazy.
Now, do you guys have an issue with Dan Henderson being called out for that testosterone replacement therapy? obviously he's got all of his paperwork in and he's got the shit down. So
No.
I don't blame him for
I
doing
don't give a
it.
shit. You know me, man.
No, I
I'm
mean,
saying, let me get all
like
juiced
Kevin
up
and I
in
said, it wouldn't bother me if they fought in an open division.
Right.
I don't fucking
Put
care.
him in the over 40
but he
class and
is
let him
like
get jacked
40
up on shit.
I mean, he is like 40-something.
Right. So if anyone's going to be on it,
Yeah,
he
I
should.
mean-
Right.
So with that said,
Okay.
does Dan Henderson have an advantage going into this?
No.
I mean, the only
man.
advantage that
Just asking.
to me, the only advantage I see is honestly, I mean, and I know people are going to disagree with this. I think Dan Henderson's right hand is a little bit better than Fedor's. I think it's more accurate. I mean, Fedor's got power. The power's probably equal,
Yeah.
but it's more accurate.
I could really. Oh, what's up?
When all you do is this, and
He
you're
just
trying
measures
to
them.
and you're trying to
Measures
clear the
them.
other guy's
That's a
hands
sight.
out of your way.
That's a
this
sight
is all
right
he
there.
does,
Yeah.
and he's just waiting. He goes,
It's locked. It's like pow.
Yeah, it's like
So-
it's seriously, it's like an Air Force jet. It's a missile lock.
Wow.
Dan is a missile lock Henderson shorty.
Fucking-
But if he locks that shit on Fedor's head,
Is that
and he-
Goose? Is that Goose or
That's
Iceman?
Goose. I don't know, man. Jimmy has a fucking incredible way of turning our show either into Lifetime television
Or complete shit.
80s television.
Hey, somebody sent me a message, and they think that I do add value. So I just want to thank that.
You
person.
add a lot of value.
You don't remember that person?
No, I don't
No.
remember exactly.
That's how much value you added to his life.
Right.
He can't even remember your name.
Yeah. So don't send anything else in Jimmy's inbox because he don't know who give a fuck who you are.
No.
Doesn't know who you are. Now.
Who are you taking in the fight? How do you see this fight going down? Like if you had to, if I said,
Oh my God.
predict
this
the
is
fight.
Such a hug.
How do you see the fight going down?
Fedor
How?
knocking him out.
Which round?
Second.
TKO or KO? Like, is it going to be one of these where he hits him, has to get on top and finish it, or is it going to be one of these?
I think it's one where he's
fucking
going.
Langland
I think that he could rattle him and get on him and submit him really quick.
submit
So
him now.
TKO.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's that kind of stoppage. Like I know I'm kind of all over the place with
Stoppage
this.
due to strikes.
Due to strikes, whatever.
Second round.
Second round.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be in the late.
No, I'm not asking for. Okay.
Oh, I was going to say I think it's either going to be in the late first round or early second round. I think Dan Henderson's going to knock him down. Now I don't know whether he's going to knock him out or have to get on top. I think he
Right.
may have to get on top because I think Fedor's a pretty tough guy. I don't
Yeah.
see him literally going down like a Matt Lindland style.
Right.
I think Fedor's going to catch him.
Yeah.
And if Fedor doesn't catch him and win this fight, I seriously think this
Now,
might be the last fight he ever
This
has.
is.
Yeah.
I think. I want to see Dan Henderson win. And a lot of people are not going to agree just because I like Dan Henderson as a fighter and stuff like that. And I feel like Dan Henderson, if he didn't fuck up with that shit with Jake Shields, he'd be on a great winning streak right now.
Yeah.
He would have been on a great.
And honestly, that fight should have been
But-
stopped.
And now it's raising the question, and a lot of people who are, but all the people who love Fedor, and we love Fedor too.
Yeah.
But if Fedor loses this fight,
Where does he go?
no, with this nowhere, because I mean, think about it. Since he has fought in Strikeforce
In the
or the
United
UFC,
States.
United States, he has had a terrible record. He would have had 3 losses in a row. So all of a sudden, this huge legacy. Watch the Chael Sonnen video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and one of those wins is over
This
the guy
guy
flipping
talks a
tires.
lot of fucking shit, and a lot of people dislike him. But I found a little bit of newfound respect for this guy because all the things he said are things that make you go, Jimmy, do you agree?
No, I definitely agree. I mean,
George won't watch the
No,
video.
I don't.
I mean, you got to take what he says, obviously, with a grain of salt. But I think, like Kevin said, there are nuggets of truth that are probably sprinkled in there.
And one of the things he brings up is why did the ref in Pride wear an earpiece? And let's face it, the big rumor about Pride is that it was
Maybe he's
controlled
ordering
by
a Big Mac.
it was
I'd like to
controlled
get
by the
fucking
Japanese
special
mafia.
sauce on that.
So
Huh?
it was controlled by the Japanese mafia. And let me tell you, I'm not knocking Rampage or anything like that. But if somebody came to Rampage and said, Mr. Jackson, we pay you extra $150,000, you dive in second round, I'd be like, okay, because no one was watching that shit anyway, except for a bunch of Japanese folks. And I mean, that's strictly what I'm assuming happened. I have no idea.
Yeah, we're just it's sort of hearsay,
But it
but
does
nobody knows.
kind of make sense, unless that ear. I mean, now I know some of them wore head cameras, but the motherfucker didn't have a head camera. He had an earpiece. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why the ref needs an earpiece, but hey.
Right. Yeah. It's we'll never know.
Oh,
It's
by
like
the way,
conspiracy.
Korean women who play soccer got struck by lightning or some shit and got tested for deer antler testosterone or some bullshit.
Did you say struck by lightning?
Dude, here's what the Women's World Cup. It's
Okay.
being
Is
played
this North
today.
Korea or I wonder?
In a few
doesn't
hours, the U.S. women will win. Yeah.
I don't fucking
Yeah,
know.
we
They play
definitely
the
hope they
Japanese.
Yeah, they'll be playing the Japanese in the final, and they have a
Yeah,
very
we should have a
good-
height advantage in that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I'm not going to go any
Neither
further
am I.
with it.
But anyway, it turns out that a couple members of the North Korean team, they had some kind of electricity accident. They got too close to the reactor their drugs were coming out of. I don't fucking know. And part of their therapy was to take some kind of deer bait, some drug that was
Deer bait.
no, deer based.
Oh, based.
It was like they were like, yes, we gave them therapy, and it was this deer drug, and I'm like, or something with deer, and I'm like, unless you're eating deer balls, I don't know where you're.
Deer ball.
Yeah, it's better than dog, I guess.
No,
Bull
dog's
balls.
a delicacy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's no joke. Like
Yeah.
they wouldn't feed that to us.
Yeah.
So,
We get that.
anything else going on?
That's it, man. We are out of here until next week. And
Jimmy's
something-
mom's in town. If anyone wants to stop by, just hop
She's
on.
giving off autograph at her book signing.
Yeah, by autograph, it's pussy imprint. Have a nice day.
Later, guys.